And welcome back to some more Carolina Panthers Madden 20 franchise. We've got the 6-5 Carolina Panthers visiting the 7-4 New Orleans Saints. It's do or die time now for the Panthers at 6-5 on the outside, looking into the playoffs. The Saints have the tiebreaker with the win earlier in the season, and a loss today would put a huge dent in the Carolina Panthers' pursuit of back-to-back playoff years, back-to-back winning seasons. So with this game on the road against the Saints, always a tough place to play, and a loss today would put Carolina essentially 3 games out of the final wild card spot, and the team above the Saints in the wild card race coming into this week, the Rams, are 8-3, and they have a tiebreaker, so they would have a huge advantage over Carolina. So a loss today, as you can see the playoff race, a loss today essentially puts Carolina, it won't be mathematically eliminated, but will be essentially eliminated from the playoffs. So this is a huge game for Cam, as we can see him coming out. The Panthers will get the ball first, starting in the game today. Cam's got to have a big game. 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, just under 3,000 yards passing for Cam. He is healthy coming into this week after that injury scare last week where he couldn't finish. And on his second pass of the game, he's an out route to DJ Moore. Makes a nice little move to get about 5 extra yards. 21 yards on the first catch of the game for DJ Moore, who is really, running that out route. He's got the superstar ability, the in and out superstar ability. He's essentially uncoverable in single coverage. If he's running an out route, it's pretty much unstoppable. So that's a big reason why you're seeing a huge uptick in his production, but Carolina was unable to do anything with it after that. As we can see, Drew Brees coming out, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for him. Drew Brees, he's a beast. What can you say? I mean, even at his age, he's still getting it done. As you can see on this play, though, Brian Burns jumps the route. Brian Burns intercepting passes now. So we're seeing Brian Burns evolve into being essentially an edge rusher. He's forcing fumbles. He's making plays in the run game now. He's intercepting passes. I mean, what else can this guy not do on the defense for Carolina? So he is an emerging superstar in this league. I'd imagine that here soon, maybe as soon as next season, he is going to become an X-Factor player for this defense. So Carolina gets the ball back here in great position here on 1st and 10 from the 25. Cam, he is going to throw a pass, and look at that catch. Throws it into double coverage, and DJ Moore makes the play. What a great pass by Cam. And again, into double coverage. A little gunslinger here, as you can see. Leaps into the air. DJ Moore makes the play. Cam Newton trusts that DJ Moore is going to make that play. And DJ Moore rewards that faith he has in him. 1st and goal here from the 8. Cam Newton's going to find... he was looking for Christian McCaffrey. It was a tip ball caught by Greg Olsen in for the touchdown. So Greg Olsen kind of had a funny play earlier this year where he recovered a fumble in stride and ran it in for a touchdown. Now on a tip play that should have been intercepted probably, he catches it off the tip and he scores a touchdown. So Carolina up 7-0 now. But this is 3rd and 4, but Brian Burns, who made the play on defense earlier, jumps off sides here. And that is big because that is going to keep the drive going, gives them 5 free yards, gives them a free first down. When you're on the road against the Saints and you give them free plays like that, give them a free set of downs, this is what they do to you. Michael Thomas down the field. So that was a huge mistake by Brian Burns. New Orleans now in business on the 29-yard line, approaching the red zone. So you can't do that if you're Brian Burns. Make them earn every play. You give them a free first down, and now they are threatening to to tie this game now. As you can see, it's 2nd down and 7 from the 14. Breeze, he's going to throw it, and he's got a wide open receiver. Not sure who that is, number 15. Apparently Cobb's not Randall Cobb, but I think they said Semi Cobbs. I'm not sure, but Cobbs Jr. gets the play there. Ties the game at 7. So here comes Cam now. How will they respond? He's going deep to DJ Moore. Picked off by PJ Williams. He has been a thorn in, or that might have been, maybe not PJ Williams gets the interception there, number 43. Cam throwing it up for grabs, looking for his guy there. That's the downside of forcing the ball to DJ Moore, is you open yourself up to plays like that where it could be intercepted. You can't always throw that ball into double coverage. That was not PJ Williams. I apologize for that, but PJ Williams has killed me in this franchise for the Saints. But here comes Kamara on the screen pass on 3rd and 7. And he gets the first down for the Saints. So the Saints looking to punish Cam for his mistake. It's a pass there to Jared Cook down to the 31-yard line. As we're at the end of, coming to the end of the first quarter here, less than 20 seconds left. So here we go, first play of the second quarter. It's a run for Kamara, who is going to go all the way. Touchdown, Saints. Combination of a great run by Alvin Kamara and bad tackling and bad angles being taken by the Panthers defense. So Alvin Kamara, the Saints offense, they make Cam Newton pay for his mistake, and they're going to go up 14-7 now after the extra point is going to be made by New Orleans. So here comes Cam now, 2nd down and 13, and he's going to be picked off again. That's Patrick Robinson. He takes it to the 29. So Cam Newton now back-to-back possessions, throwing an interception. So now the Saints really in business in a game that Carolina must have. They needed a mistake-free game, needed a clean game to have a shot at it, because it's always tough coming into New Orleans. And Patrick Robinson jumps the route, but the Panthers were able to hold him to a field goal. But here's a sack here by Davenport. Marcus Davenport, he is, in this franchise, he has really been a nightmare for me to handle. So 3rd and 13 now for Cam Newton. He's going to try to scramble, and he's going to be sacked again by Marcus Davenport. Back-to-back plays with a sack by Davenport. That's going to force a punt. So now the Saints really in business as Jared Cook finds himself wide open down the seam, down to the 39-yard line. We're approaching midway through the second quarter, and New Orleans can really just, they had the chance to really take, oh my goodness, and look at this. Williams again, the 3rd interception of the game thrown by Cam Newton, and the 2nd for Williams, and Williams this time it's a pick 6. Looking for Christian McCaffrey in the flat there, jumps the route. So it's looking like a route for the Saints now, 27-7. This is nightmare scenario. It's going to be halftime, 27-7. Just nothing going right. 35 yards passing, 17 rushing, 3 interceptions by Cam. They've scored touchdowns, they've scored 2 touchdowns. One was a pick 6 and a field goal. So 17 points were off of Cam Newton interceptions. So in the second half, I mean, you got to just play for pride at this point. You can't give up. You've got to try to make something happen, and by trying to make something happen, it can lead to more mistakes because you're pressing, you're forcing the ball down the field. So this is a nightmare for the Panthers. Just you couldn't have written a worse script for the Panthers in the first half. I mean, the Saints really haven't had to do anything on offense, and they've got a 27-7 lead. So we'll see what happens in the second half. And again, I had a bit of a fail with my highlights here. For the second time, I lost my second half gameplay for this game. But, I mean, honestly, there wasn't much to show because the Saints pretty much shut down their offense. As you can see, they finished the game with only 188 yards of total offense, but end up with 41 points. So basically what happened in the second half, the Saints were content to just run the ball, didn't want to make any mistakes. They were up 27-7 going into the second half. And then, Carolina, this is the first game in December, and Carolina understands that during the Christmas season, it is better to give than to receive. The 2 touchdowns by the Saints in the second half were both pick sixes. One was thrown by Cam Newton in the third quarter, which made it 34-7. Will Grier took over after that. Cam was not injured. It was basically a situation where you're down by so many points. He's already thrown 4 interceptions. You don't want to kill his confidence even further. There was no way that the Panthers were going to come back over. Will Grier finished the game. He did throw a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter, but then threw another pick six. So the New Orleans Saints with 3 defensive touchdowns on the day, 6 interceptions. Just a pretty wild game. As you can see, only 29 rushing yards for the Panthers in the game. It was a bizarre game. One of the more bizarre games that I've played in Madden in a long time. But, like I said, the Saints, the computer just completely shut down the offense. And they did nothing but running plays. But even if they didn't, the offense was playing so well in the first half that it could have been even worse than this. But, Carolina drops to 6-6. It's not looking good for the playoffs. The hot seat for Ron Rivera was already warm at the start of the season. It got a little bit warmer when the team started 0-2 and made the trade to bring in Josh Lambo, making Graham Gano the scapegoat because he had missed 3 extra points in the first 2 games. Lambo's been okay. I mean, I've still missed extra points with him, but he's been a lot better than Gano. The seat is very hot for Ron Rivera. Going into the season, it was kind of understood that the Panthers would have to make the playoffs for a second straight year, which, the Panthers did make the playoffs 3 straight years from 2013 to 2015. But the 2014 season, they made the playoffs because the NFC South was garbage, and they only needed 7 wins to win the division that year. So it's looking like Carolina, they might, I would say that I'll finish with a winning record, like 9-7. But the playoffs is pretty much not going to happen. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. I mean, if the Panthers win out and the Saints take a couple losses, but, they're 2 games behind the Saints for the last wild card spot. And the Saints it's basically a 3-game advantage for the Saints because they swept the Panthers. So the Panthers have to outright finish with a better record. So, I mean, and then the other wild card spot, I believe the Rams are like 9-3 or something. So it's not going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. But I'll see y'all later with the third quarter around the league summary. I'll see y'all then.